let's go ahead and welcome the peanut butter to my ladies, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Hoffman to the show. What is up, Hoffy? What's going on, brother?
What's up, Buckheister? What's up, Man Hour Nation? Looking forward to a great week 8, the NFL football season. Can you believe it's almost halfway over already?
Man, dude, like this is the dog days of summer, and I feel like we're not going to hit a dog days. This has been a very exciting NFL season. You don't know what's going to happen. Well, we do know the Chiefs are going to win and go undefeated, but Patriots, Jaguars, 49ers, we don't know what they're going to do, Hoffy. It's just been crazy, man. Just been crazy.
Back it up. There's always next year.
Yeah, there's always next year for a lot of fans, but there's also next year for the other guys for our three-man crew here. Mr. Mark D is with us today. What's going on, Mark?
What up, Buck? What up, Hoffy? Looking forward to doing this week 8. I'm really sad that it's already halfway through, man. That sucks. I wish you wouldn't have said that.
Hey, we have 18 weeks, so we still have until next week till it's officially, halfway through, right? But yeah, you guys are right. It is halfway through, and this is it's kind of depressing, but kind of exciting at the same time here. But NFL Week 8 is that is so, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Give us the wow emoji for the Philadelphia Eagles, of course, a heart emoji for the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you got winning this game and why? Let us know. Next up on this docket here of the Sunday week NFL 8 games here is we do have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens right now are sitting on a 5-game winning streak, sitting at 5-2, and playing very, very good football right now. And the Cleveland Browns simply are not, sitting at 1-6. Watson went down with the Achilles injury last week. Jameis Winston is set to start this week as a starting quarterback. So with that being said, the Baltimore Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite in this game. Damn near a double-digit lead on the road. So, Mark, let me kick it to you first, man. How can the Baltimore Ravens win the game? What is their keys?
All right, we were just talking about their defense not being good, but their rush defense needs to slow down Nick Chubb. Since he's came back from that devastating injury, which I think is crazy that he's still came back and still playing really well. He's killing it. Last week he had 11 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. The next key is this tag team rushing attack of Lamar and Derrick Henry needs to keep rolling. Jackson and Henry are on pace to combine for 3,225 rush yards. The NFL record for a duo is 2,442. So they're going to eclipse that by a bunch of yards. That was Eric Dickerson and Dwayne Crutchfield from the 84 Rams. Wow. Lastly, Deshaun Watson, like you said, he's out towards Achilles. They got to rely on Jameis Winston. That guy led the league in interceptions. I'm not totally sure if he's turned his game around or if he's a better quarterback now, but I don't have much confidence. I think that because of that, it doesn't matter who's quarterback, they're going to lose.
Yeah, on the bright side, I think Jameis has really he's matured as a individual, and hopefully that does translate into some play time for the Cleveland Browns. But Mark, I did not realize, what was it, almost 5,000 yards total they're on pace for King Henry and Lamar.
It's crazy, dude.
Wow,
it's crazy.
That is ridiculous.
I have Derrick Henry in fantasy this year, and he's been killing it for me every week, dude. He's my horse right now.
Yeah.
He's not even touching the ball to the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it? Versus the Chiefs, he had 1 touch. Versus the Raiders, he had 2 touches in the fourth quarter. Versus the Cowboys, he had 3 touches. So, yeah, he's getting his yardage first and third quarters. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But Baltimore
I think the
Ravens,
last game he went over 1 whole hour without touching the football, and yet still broke off those 2 big huge runs.
Yeah, that is just.
They say he's one of those backs that gets better as the game goes on, dude. And I totally believe that.
Oh, he's definitely a very well conditioned guy. Very, very well conditioned. So, Hoffy, let me kick it to you, man. Your Cleveland Browns that you're going to break down for us are setting that 1-6 backup quarterback, or you can even say potentially a third string quarterback like at this rate, because they had DTR in before Winston last week. So what is key number 1 for the Baltimore Ravens this week? For the Cleveland Browns.
Touch on Mark's, no problem. Touch on Mark's side of the on his side. Free Nick Chubb. His return last week after over a year away, 11 touches, only 22 yards. He did find the end zone, but I think he needs to find his sea legs in this game to allow the passing game to open up because, I don't even think the Browns have committed to Jameis Winston, but I believe that's the way it will go. But free Nick Chubb and allow him to find his legs is key number one. Number two is stop Lamar Jackson. I don't know if that's possible with how he's playing right now. He's torched teams both through the air, on the ground throughout the season. He's only thrown 2 interceptions to his 15 touchdowns. And, you're gonna have to stop him in order to beat the Baltimore Ravens right now. And number three, minimize turnovers. Despite what our buddy Brandon Combs says, with Jameis Winston being a top 10 quarterback, he tends to throw as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. You cannot turn the ball over against this Ravens top-ranked defense. They're going to make you pay for that.
Yeah, so there's a couple keys here, Hoffy, that I like. Obviously, Winston has not started a NFL game since 2022 with the New Orleans Saints, when everybody thought he was the heir and parent. After Drew Brees retired, he was just not the guy. So definitely have my doubts about Winston, but unfortunately, I think the Browns might have a little something for the Baltimore Ravens. A 10-point dog at home, a division game. Mark, who do you got win this game and why, man?
I'm going Baltimore, man. They're going to keep rolling. I feel like they're going to be hard to stop this year.
Yeah. Hoffy, what about you, man?
I got Cleveland covering the spread, but I still got Baltimore winning.
And see, you say that jokingly, Hoffy, but low key, I think the Browns are going to win this game because you have a quarterback that you don't have any film on, whether it be Bailey Zappi, whether it be Jameis, whether DTR somehow gets in there. Like, either way, they don't have any film on the Cleveland Browns as their starting quarterback. And Mark, we saw it happen with the Las Vegas Raiders just a few weeks ago when Andy Dalton came in and beat the Las Vegas Raiders because they had no film on him, right? So, I mean, having no film on a guy is actually very, very huge. It's very, very beneficial for every team. So I am actually taking the Browns in this game with the upset. And, of course, give me the 10 points. I mean, come on. I'm not a fool. Give me the 10 points. So, Hoffy, Mark, you guys want to change your picks at all? You sticking with the Baltimore Ravens, riding the hot hand?
I'm going Lamar and Derek, man.
Yeah,
they're unstoppable at this very moment. So no.
All right, guys. So we do have the Ravens taking on the Browns. Wow emoji in the comments below for Ravens. Heart emoji for the Cleveland Browns. Let us know. Next up here on the docket, we have the Tennessee Titans sitting at 1-5 on the season, freshly trading off D-Hop to my Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the red-hot 5-1 Detroit Lions. Wow emoji for the Titans in the comments below, or heart emoji for the Detroit Lions, guys. Right now, the Detroit Lions are 11.5-point favorites. 11.5-point favorite at home over the Tennessee Titans. Mark, obviously the Tennessee Titans are a team right now. It's kind of struggling. They've kind of tanked it in, right? But I've been on record saying that I feel like the Tennessee Titans could very well be a 4-1 team, if not 5-0 team, if it wasn't for some costly turnovers by Will Levis. But obviously they are not, and they're playing a red-hot Detroit Lions team. Tell me how they can beat the Detroit Lions this weekend.
Remember, this is the one we got to switch. This is Hoffy's picks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm doing Detroit.
Yeah. All right. So you got the Detroit, or you got the Titans, or Hoffy, you got the Titans. I'm sorry. My bad.
I got Tennessee beating Detroit in this one.
What is your key number one?
Number one, pressure on Goff. This offense for the Titans is horrific, but they do have a top 5 defense. Their defense is going to be the key to winning this game. They're going to have to generate consistent pressure on Jared Goff, blitz him, mix up defensive schemes. You're going to have to disrupt his timing, which will hopefully lead to some mistakes because they're going to need to force mistakes in order to, create short field for the offense with them struggling the way they are. Number two, limit the big plays. Last week, the Lions against the Vikings had 11 explosive plays, 3 of them for touchdowns. Jared Goff completed 88% of his passes. Gibbs, Amon St. Brown, they made what would be, tacklers look foolish. And Goff has been playing well. His completion percentage has been through the roof. I think there was one game where he had 18 straight completions or whatever. And then number 3, hope history repeats itself. The Lions are 0-6 versus the Titans, so let's hope that history repeats itself.
Yeah, they are 0-6, but this was the old Detroit Lions, right? This is the Detroit Lions that they couldn't find a bone in a woodshed type of thing. They were not very good, and also Jared Goff has been playing out of his mind. I actually anticipate Will Levis getting benched this game, even if he plays, right? Because he does have that shoulder injury. Mason Rudolph could come in and be some type of glimmer of hope for them moving forward, but. We've talked about the Titans. Now we got to give it up to my man Mark and the Detroit Lions here. The Detroit Lions, Mark, they opened up with the 12.5 point favorite. Right now they're 11-point favorite. They are red hot, winners of 4 of their last 5. They're 5-1 on the season. How can the Lions beat the Titans this weekend?
All right, number 1 key, Detroit's offense needs to take advantage of Tennessee's turnover struggles. They're terrible. Turnovers, they are -9 ratio. That's going to be really hard to overcome with a really hot Detroit offense. They're killing it right now. Second, Goff needs to just keep playing efficient like he is. He has an 85% completion rate. He averages 295 yards a game, 7 TDs, no interceptions. Guy's balling. Lastly, Tennessee is not good. I don't know how else to say it. It's been a long season for them. They're 1-5, and after this, it's going to get longer.
Yeah. So, guys, those are the keys to the Titans versus the Detroit Lions here. Obviously, they are 11-point favorite. Lions are red hot. Many people are deeming them the best team in the NFL. Is anybody taking the Titans in this game?
Not me.
I mean, honestly, this could, we talked about earlier, this is kind of like the trap, or this is the dog days of the NFL season. Trap games are coming here. This could potentially be a trap game for the Detroit Lions. I still think the Lions are going to win, but I don't think they cover the spread. I don't think they beat the Titans by 11 points. It's a close game, but it is what it is. But guys, in the comments below, Titans wow emoji, the Detroit Lions the heart emoji. Let us know who you got. Next up on the docket here, we have a game that doesn't really carry much muster anymore, right? It's a game that who really wants to watch this game? Let's just be honest. But the Miami Dolphins do have a 3.5-point favorite going into this game over the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 3-4 on the season, and the Miami Dolphins are 2-4. Tua should be back in this game. Tua has practiced all week and is scheduled to make his appearance come Sunday. So, Mark, how can the Arizona Cardinals go into Miami and beat the Dolphins?
Okay, number 1 key. Arizona needs to overcome the early start time for the game, going to the East Coast, and coming off a short week. So it's going to be really tough just off the bat before even starting the game. They got to overcome that. And in that time, Arizona is 2-5 at 1 p.m. starts. So they don't do well in that time slot under Jonathan Gannon. Second, you said Tua's going to return. If he practices this week, they said he probably will play. I'm banking on him playing. Arizona's will need to slow down that passing offense, because with Tua coming back, he influences that offense at least 10 points more a game. And lastly, Tim Boyle, if he plays their backup, I don't know if you guys know this record of his, but Boyle's teams are 0-10 all time. 0-10, sorry, all time when he plays these games. So if, like Hoffy said earlier, if history repeats itself, Arizona should win.
Wow. 0-10. And didn't Tim Boyle play for the Patriots right before he went there?
He played for a bunch of teams, dude.
Yeah. How are you 0-10? Wow, that is ridiculous.
Terrible.
0-10. But those are some good keys, Mark, and I definitely agree with you on that. Definitely slow down Tua. That offense is bound to get on track at some point. Just don't let it be against you guys, or meeting the Arizona Cardinals. Hoffy, you do have the Miami Dolphins. Tua could be back. Tyreek Hill might finally break 50 yards. How can the Miami Dolphins win this game over the Arizona Cardinals?
I am banking on Tua being back, and he is my number 1 key to this game, and that is protecting Tua. I feel like every time that we watch Tua step out on the field now, I mean, we could be potentially watching his own funeral. That's a scary thing to think of. But protecting Tua is going to be the number one key to this game, because with Tua, he is the conductor to their offense. So get Tua and this offense going. They were number one in offense last year. They're currently number 22. The Cardinals are ranked at 27, giving up 376 yards a game. So this is the perfect game for Tua to hopefully come back, find some of that offensive mojo that him and Tyreek Hill and Waddle and the rest of the boys had going last year, and hopefully continue to ride that momentum throughout the rest of the season. Number 3, contain Kyler Murray. The defense has to keep Kyler Murray in the pocket. The Dolphins have the number 1 ranked pass defense, 4th overall defense. So I think this is a very winnable game as long as the Dolphins can keep Tua in this game.
All right, guys. So, like I said, the Miami Dolphins are 2-4 on the season. Arizona Cardinals are 3-4. Miami Dolphins do have a 2.5-point favorite in this game. In the comments below, wow emoji for the Arizona Cardinals, heart emoji for the Miami Dolphins. But Mark, who do you got winning this game?
Even though I gave the keys for Arizona, I think getting Tua back is going to be huge for them. It's going to be like a big morale boost, and they're going to win. Miami.
Hoffy, what about you?
Can I waffle on this one?
You can waffle. Are you picking a tie?
I'm picking Miami as long as Tua plays the entire game.
Which honestly, that's a very valid point there. And I like your key to protect Tua. I mean, the Miami Dolphins have gone through 3 quarterbacks now, right? Skylar Thompson is on IR. Snoop Huntley's banged up. I think he actually got
shoulder.
Yeah, he got knocked out of last week's game. And now you got Tim Boyle or Todd Boyle or whoever it is. Oh, Mr. 0-10. But
I think it was you and Wayne G that were discussing the Guardian caps, right?
Yep.
What did Wayne say anyway? I didn't even know what he was saying. That you were commenting.
You think Tua should be wearing a cap? What is your thoughts?
My thoughts, personally, I think the Guardian caps are the most stupidest things in the world because
me too.
Because a helmet, Hoffy, you got a helmet right behind you. They are slick plastic, right? They are meant to skip. Once you put a Guardian cap on, a sweater, right, is the material of a Guardian cap. If they hit each other, they get stuck, and you're like, oh, it's that sudden jerk. That's what causes the concussions. Usually not the hit, it's the motion,
the shaking.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when those Guardian caps hit, they try to make my kids wear them at the high school. Last year, I wore them for 1 practice. I had three concussions. I threw those things in the trash. I legit got a trash bag and threw them away. They are trash. They're stupid. They're asinine. Now, if they can make it so they're had the skip ability like a helmet's supposed to have, I'm all for it. I'm all for safety. I'm all for this and this and this, right? But helmets nowadays literally are designed like a baby's head, meaning there's multiple pieces. So when you get hit, your helmet, goes like this and stuff. So like you don't actually get the impact of anything, to be honest. But those are my thoughts. Mark, you obviously don't like him either. Hoffy, do you like the Guardian taps?
I'm not a fan. I haven't looked into the scientific evidence, etc. I'm going to go off. I do agree with what you say, Buck. I do think we need a year or so to kind of get that scientific evidence. But yeah, I just think that it looks ridiculous.
It does.
I enjoy the uniform, and everyone kind of wearing, looking the same. And yeah, like the Buccaneers had a lineman the other day that was wearing one, and it looked like a completely different helmet, because it doesn't have that shine or whatever. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it for the looks, and I don't really think that it makes that much of a difference in protecting, the player.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but the Guardian taps have only been out for maybe about 5 years, maybe. This is the second or third year that the NFL has implemented in like their practices, where like linemen and linebackers and like running backs, I believe, are supposed to wear them during practice. I don't know how stringent they are now about that, but obviously they're letting them wear it during games and whatever. But I just think it's stupid. But I am taking.
To be honest, I respect Tua that he's like telling everybody it's a personal choice. It's like It is his choice.
and it's not our choice. It's not his mom's choice. It's not his dad's choice. It's his and his wife's choice. What do they want to do? But I'm picking the Miami Dolphins in this game. I think Tua does come out, and that offense finally starts to gel just a little bit. Plus, it's 1:00 in Miami. It's going to be hot. It's going to be miserable. They're going to be tired. They just want to go home. Cardinals are not going to win this game. But in the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, a heart emoji for the Miami Dolphins. Let us know who you got in this game. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Next up, we do have the lost team, the New York Football Jets, sitting at a whopping 2-5 on the season, taking on the better team, New England Patriots, sitting at 1-6. Wow emoji for the Jets, guys. Heart emoji for the New England Patriots. Mark, give me the keys to the victory for the New York Jets.
I'm shaking my head first because I hate that you made me say good things about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I fucking hate him. You know this. Okay, so let me just get this out of the way. Number one, they need to reestablish the Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams connection. Those guys were really good in Green Bay last week. I feel like they're still filling each other out just from not playing with each other for so long, and that needs to get going. Like, the Jets are in desperation mode, like, especially after that last game, and they've lost 4 straight. So they need to turn their season around like now. Second, the Jets' rush defense needs to shut down New England's rushing offense because that's really all they have. Like, they have no offensive weapons, like we were talking about before. Like, who the fuck is Kendrick Bourne? That's like their number 1 wide receiver. I don't even know who the hell that is. So, like I said, that's their only offensive weapon. You shut down the rush, you will stop New England. Lastly, Davante Adams. I haven't really seen this dude have a big game, even when he was in Vegas. The guy needs to have a big game. He didn't do much in his debut, and I think that's about to change this week. I think Davante Adams has a huge game, and they win.
So you're loving you some Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams.
No.
In this game. You are saying that they're going to have a great game, but
he's got a hard on right now.
He does have a little hard on. The Jets do have a 7.5 point favorite going into this game on the road versus the New England Patriots. Hoffy, I didn't even realize this, but this is your New England Patriots. We see that Patriots helmet sitting back there on the desk there, looking pretty mighty. I like the chrome. But give me the keys how the Patriots can win this game.
I mean, I don't want them to win this game. I want them to close up ship one pick. Not that there's a lot of talent coming out of the draft comparably to these last several years. But Drake May is going to be their number 1 key to this game. Drake May and Dan Marino, who is the best quarterback from his era, are the only quarterbacks with at least 500 passing yards and at least 5 touchdown passes in their first 2 starts. May threw for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns in his first career start versus Houston, and 276 yards, 2 touchdowns last week in London versus Jacksonville. He can become the first rookie quarterback with at least 240 yards passing and at least 2 touchdown passes in his first 3 starts since 1950. So Drake May is going to be number 1. Number 2 is going to be protecting Drake May. The Jets have a strong secondary that ranks 2nd in the league, allowing just 164 yards per game. Plus, they have a potent pass rush that is 3rd in the NFL in sacks per pass play. So protecting May is going to be key to this. And then number 3 is pressuring Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was able to smoothly work his way in and out of the pocket and rip apart New England's secondary their first game this season that they played. He had 281 yards, passer rating of 118, by far the best game that he's had this season. He's got a bevy of options in the passing game. The newly acquired Davante Adams, along with Garrett Wilson. Alan Lazard's been playing great for him. The tight end Tyler Conklin, he seems to have been gelling with him these past couple weeks, and both their running backs. When Rodgers has the time, he still shows flashes of his former self, and you're going to have to stop him in order to win this game.
Yeah, so guys, in the comments below, wow emoji for the New York Jets, heart emoji for the New England Patriots, and Hoffy, you nailed it right there on the head, your very last statement there. Aaron Rodgers has flashes of greatness, flashes of it. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself. Let's just be honest. Father Time has officially caught up. Having Davante Adams there is not going to help him. What it comes down to is Aaron Rodgers is making mistakes and blaming everybody else. That's
Yup.
why I am taking the New England Patriots to win this game. I expect the New England Patriots to finally play a complete game. When they were over in London, they played a great first quarter, and then they steadily got worse throughout the game. I think now they're ready to whirl. They're ready to win some games. 7-point favorite for the Jets. You better get that 7 points favorite to the Patriots because we're going to whoop that ass by 14 points. Mark, who do you got win in this game?
Even though I hate to say it, I think the Jets are going to win. I think, like, what's Woody Johnson going to do if they lose another game? And he did all this shit, fired Saleh, let Rodgers basically run the fucking team. Like, what is he going to do? Who heads are going to roll? So it's like they have to win. I'm going Jets.
So, Hoffy, just to let you know, the last time Mark picked the Jets to win this game, I talked him out of it to pick his Denver Broncos. Turns out I was right. So do I need to talk him out again, Hoffy, or do you think he's right with the Jets?
No, I mean, Christian Gonzalez was looking like a defensive rookie of the year last year before he had his season-ending injury. He's not been playing all that well this year. And in fact, Wilson tore him apart. The first game against the Jets this season, he struggled, 2 weeks ago as well. And he is their only cornerback that they have that can shut anyone down. And if he's not able to do anything, Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for another 285 plus yards. So no, I unfortunately am taking the Jets against my New England Patriots.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think I'm going to take the Jets as well. I think you guys are right. I think the Aaron Rodgers versus Devontae Adams connection is going to flourish here. And Mark is going to have a hard on all weekend long. And it's going to be some awesome Aaron Rodgers news for the next 2 weeks here. But in the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the New York Football Jets. And, of course, heart emoji for the New England Patriots. Next up here on this beautiful Week 8 NFL season, we do have the wow emoji, the Atlanta Falcons, taking on kind of a depleted Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers right now are a 3-point favorite. Somehow both teams are sitting at 4-3, tied for first place in the NFC South. But the Buccaneers are out Chris Godwin for the season and Mike Evans for at least the next 2 weeks here. But Mark D, the Falcons seem to be like a trending team. They seem to be that dark horse sexy pick. Can you give me keys to the victory for the Atlanta Falcons?
Yes. Number one, Mr. Kirk D. Cousins needs a repeat performance from the last time they played. Dude was 42 of 58. He had 509 passing yards, 4 TDs. He does that, they'll easily roll Tampa. Number two, Atlanta needs to shut down Tampa Bay's rush offense. They're not going to have anything else to rely on now that Godwin and Evans are out. Mayfield has no one to throw to, so they're going to rely on the run. They're going to be forced to do it. And Atlanta's rush defense has been surrendering 137 yards per game on the ground, so they need to shore that up. Lastly, Tampa Bay's defense has to figure out a way to stop Cousins. The guy's balling out right now. Over the past 3 weeks, the Buccaneers have surrendered over 500 yards twice against the Falcons and the Ravens.
All right, so those are the keys for the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is playing at a very high level right now. I don't necessarily know MVP level, but he's definitely out there balling, sitting about 1,800 yards so far this season. Hoffy, we've seen Chris Godwin go down for the Buccaneers last minute of Monday night's game versus the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Evans has been listed out till at least after the bye week, so that's the next 2 weeks. Cooper Kupp has been rumored to come to the Bucs via trade, but right now, none of that has happened. Can the Buccaneers beat the Falcons? Give me the keys.
Number one, mistake-free football. Baker and the Bucs, 5th-ranked offense, 29 points per game, which is 4th. Baker leads the league in touchdown passes. However, missing his 2 big weapons in Evans and Godwin, the margin for error is non-existent. You cannot turn the ball over. This pair has accounted for 911 of his 1,859 passing yards, nearly 50%. They've been on the receiving end of 11 of his 18 touchdown passes. Godwin is also the NFL leader in yards after catch, and he brings an element to that Buccaneers offense that is going to be difficult to replicate. Number two, you're going to have to run the ball. which is going to, help out Baker Mayfield and limit him from having to throw it, 40 plus times a game. They have a three-headed trio of White, Irving, and Tucker. They do have the Bucks as the 8th ranked rushing attack right now. They're going to have to help Baker Mayfield. They have to run. They've run for 562 yards these last 3 games. They had 125 against the Ravens' top-ranked defense. Add an additional 100 yards in the passing game. So the trio of White, Irving, and Tucker are going to have to be key to this Buccaneers team winning their game at home. Protect this house. The Bucks are 2-2 at home. They have to find a way to stop the trio of the top 10 picks that the Falcons have in Bijan Robinson, who had 103 yards last week, Drake London, who had 6 catches, 63 yards, and a big game the last time he faced Buccaneers, and Pitts, the tight end for the Falcons, has come alive. He's become a reliable security blanket for Cousins. 7 catches, 65 yards last week. Another receiver that had a good game against the Bucks their first go around. So that is going to be my 3 keys to the Buccaneers protecting their house.
All right, guys. So in the comments below, wow emoji for the Atlanta Falcons, of course, heart emoji for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All great keys, all very, very valid arguments how each team can win this game. Buccaneers are a 3-point favorite despite their 2 main threats out. 3-headed monster. I like it, even though I would prefer to have one solid running back, i.e. Bucky Irving, because he's on my fantasy team, but I digress. Mark, who do you got win this game and why?
I'm going Atlanta. I just don't think Tampa has enough on offense to get it done.
Yeah. Hoffy, what about you?
Yeah, I expected this game, after watching the first game to be another shootout. And I just don't know that, Baker Mayfield, with the lack of weapons, is going to be able to compete in a shootout with Kirk Cousins. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, and to be honest, I thought maybe that the Buccaneers could have hung with the Falcons with Mike Evans in the lineup with like Chris Godwin missing this week. But the fact that Mike Evans is out, 2 top guys are out, that is tough to overcome for any team, for Patrick Mahomes, for Tua, for Dak, any quarterback. It is going to be tough. But the Bucs are at home. They are at home, and they have been running the ball. What would you say, Hoffy? 500 yards the last 2 games? Or
the last 3 games, yep.
I mean, they are starting
562 yards.
They're starting to run the ball. They're starting to establish a new identity. Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback and is spraying the ball around. And I just don't trust the Falcons yet. I don't know what it is. I just do not trust them. I'm taking the Buccaneers in this one. I would say upset, but they're favored. But I'm picking the Bucs. So guys, in the comments
below, as a coach, Buck.
What's that?
As a coach in garbage time, should they have, we heard the announcers talking about why not just pack it in, next play, Godwin's hurt. You as a football coach, what do you do in that position?
So there's pros and cons to it, right? So you have he got hurt with like 2 minutes left, 1:30 or so. They were only down by 10. They were driving the ball, right? So they potentially could have scored a touchdown 2 plays from there, 3 plays from there, making it a 3-point game. And we know with the kickoff rules, onside kicks probably not going to happen. But I've seen I think two onside kicks so far this season. So I don't discourage it. It just sucks that it happened with 1.5 minutes left, being down by 10 points. Now, if it were to happen and they were only down by 7 points, definitely a lot more justifiable, right? But as a coach, I am thinking Todd did the correct thing. I think the Buccaneers did the correct thing. They were driving the field down 1:30, 1:40 left, whatever it was. It was just a freak accident.
Dude, shit happens, man. Yeah. Like that could have happened any time of the game.
Yeah, and it just sucks that it did happen the time that it did, being down by 10. But I don't fault him. I don't fault the call at all. It is what it is. So guys, in the comments below, we have the wow emoji for the Atlanta Falcons, heart emoji for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next up, guys, on this beautiful Saturday edition, Saturday night, We've watched some UFC fights. We've watched a little bit of this. We watched like a little bit of that. We've also watched the Green Bay Packers go from a team that many people were worried about to a not so great team to a team that people are starting to worry about again. And we do have the 5-2, the Green Bay Packers taking on the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. In the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the Packers, heart emoji for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mark, the Packers are coming off a huge win over the Houston Texans. What, 22-19, I believe that score was 21-19. They're riding high. Jacksonville Jaguars riding off a win as well. But
In London,
can the Packers win this game? Give me the keys.
Okay, number one key. Jordan Love, even though he's been playing really good, he needs to cut down the interceptions. The dude has 15 TDs, but he also has 8 interceptions. That's no bueno. There's no way that he can throw picks and expect to win games. Not going to happen. Second, Green Bay defense needs to keep playing well. They've only averaged 60 yards over the last 2 weeks. They are like stout. That's got to stay up. Lastly, Jacksonville's defense is just not good. They rank 30th in scoring defense with 27 points a game. And then returning from London, I'm sure that's not going to help. So Green Bay has the chance they had to play the AFC South this year. If they beat the Packers, they'll have swept them.
Oh, so there we go. So beating the Jaguars, bada bing, bada boom. But the Packers defense is playing well. I think they have multiple interceptions in like 5 straight games or something ridiculous, like that. They are balling 100%. Ever since Jordan Love has worn that Brett Favre jersey to the game, it is no risk it, no biscuit mindset.
He's totally like Favre. I think he's more like Favre than Rodgers.
Yeah, definitely no risk it, no big sip. So Hoffy, Jaguars are coming back from a 2-week vacation over in London, finally back at home. Can they beat the Packers? If so, give me the keys.
Ryan Thomas Jr. Is number one. The Jaguars rookie receiver. He's emerged as their top player at that position. He leads the team in targets with 45, receptions 30. He's got 513 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Number 2, the secondary. The Jaguars are one of the worst secondaries in the league, 30th, going against one of the better passing attacks in the league. The Jaguars are going to have to get after Jordan Love and help out this secondary. And number 3, Trevor Lawrence. He is paid like a top quarterback. He needs to perform like one. He is just outside of the top 10 in almost all categories. He needs to have a 275-plus yard game, 3 touchdowns, in order for this Green Bay team, to defeat Green Bay. It's going to the only way they're going to win is if they get into a shootout with them, and that's going to require Trevor Lawrence having a huge game.
Yeah, and also in Trevor Lawrence's defense, Hoffy, he did have a career day versus the Indianapolis Colts a couple weeks ago, and since then he has been playing pretty top notch. He's not the best quarterback, but definitely playing well. So I like those keys. I like them. So Mark, Packers have a 4-point favorite in this game. Who wins this game and why?
You know what? My gut says I'm going with Jacksonville. I think that they're slowly turning it around, and I think maybe Trevor Lawrence will have another big game and they'll win. And how about Tank Bigsby, man? That guy has been running the ball, dude. Talk about angry runs. Like, I think that guy's going to replace ETN. Like, the guy's coming off injury. He might lose his job to injury.
He definitely should 100%, especially since I have him in fantasy as well. Now, Hoffy, who wins this game?
I think the fact that the Jaguars have been in London the past 2 weeks, coming back over to the U.S., I think that's definitely going to, be difficult for them. And Green Bay is they've been playing pretty well. And the Jaguars defense is just not good. They allowed Drake May last week to throw for nearly 300 yards. I expect Jordan Love to have a big game, and I think the Green Bay Packers win this game.
Yeah, just to let you know, though, last year the Jaguars did play 2 weeks overseas as well. They come back, they win 3 or 4 games in a row on U.S. soil, giving them a 6-game winning streak. But then they lost like 15 games in a row, like after that. So with that being said, this is the common denominator for this week are trap games. We're talking about the Panthers Broncos trap game. We're talking about the Ravens Browns trap game, right? This is a trap game. If the Packers do not show up and play at least a B+ game, the Jaguars can come up and bite them in the butt. But Mark nailed it. I think Tank is the key to this game. I think Tank is going to get the ball, rush for 150, 160 yards. But I think the Packers are just too good. I'm picking the Packers in this one in like a 10 to 12 point game. So in the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the Green Bay Packers, and of course, heart emoji for the home team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next up on the docket here, we do have an AFC South battle, a battle for first place. The Houston Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, the Houston Texans are a 5-point favorite over the 4-3 Indianapolis Colts. Houston Texans are sitting at 5-2, fresh off of a 2-point loss to the Green Bay Packers this past weekend. Mark, the Colts are playing decent football. AR-12, Anthony Richardson is the quarterback moving forward. As they say, I think it's a bad choice as well. But give me the keys. How can the Colts beat the Texans?
Okay, number one, can we get some competent quarterback play from Richardson? Like, everybody says this guy is so good. I was never a believer of his hype. The guy is incredibly inaccurate. So number one, he needs to have competent quarterback play. He has a 50% completion percentage, and he's 41% on the road. So dude needs to be better, simply. Second, Indianapolis's defense needs to slow down CJ Stroud. The guy plays great at home. At home, he has a 103 QB rating, 9 TDs, and only 2 interceptions. So you got to slow down CJ. Lastly, if the Colts win, they can win the first. They could be tied for first place in AFC South. That would be huge for them. So, but Houston is undefeated at home, so it's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, so Houston being undefeated at home, Colts battling for first place. It seems like a recipe for a great game. Hoffy, the Houston Texans are coming off a loss. A game they probably should have won, but how can the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts?
And get Tank Dell involved with missing out on Collins. Last week Tank Dell had four passes thrown to him, 0 catches. He had 7 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown against the Patriots. He's going to have to start replicating that. He's a big time receiver. You got to get him involved. Number 2, attack the corners. The Texans should attack the corners with their passing, catching corps, which includes Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. Their receivers got to have a big game. And number 3, contain Taylor. The Texans are going to have to contain Taylor. That's going to make the quarterback have to make big plays. It's going to create turnovers. So they have to be successful on defense to win this game.
Yeah, and what's even worse for the Houston Texans is Jonathan Taylor has not played the last 2 weeks either. So he is going to be fresh and he's going to be energized coming off that ankle injury that he has had. So guys, in the comments below, wow emoji for the Colts, heart emoji for the Houston Texans. Mark, who do you got win this game and why?
I'm going to waffle a little bit like Coffee did on one of the last games. I'm going to say if Joe Flacco starts like he should, Indianapolis will win. If Anthony Richardson plays, they'll lose.
So he's waffling around. Hoffy, who are you taking?
I am a believer in Anthony Richardson. I don't think he gets it done against Houston. I am a Florida Gators guy, so I'm rooting for him. But I think that the Houston Texans are just too good.
Yeah, the Houston Texans are a very, very good team, but the loss of Nico Collins, he's on IR for at least 3 more weeks, is actually pretty sneakily bigger than I think people are making it out to be. Yes, they got Tank Dell, they got Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud is balling, but I've been talking about X factors on the Man Hour all week about with Chris Godwin and Brandon Ayuk, and I think Nico Collins is that type of player for the Houston Texans too. And I think losing him showed how in the Packers game, it showed how easy it is to shut down the rest of those receivers. I do like the Colts in this game. I like him in the upset, and honestly, I think the Colts still win the AFC South. And this game is going to be the deciding factor in this one. So, wow emoji for the Colts, guys. Heart emoji for the Houston Texans. Let us know who you got. Next up, we do have a freshly signed Alvin Kamara 2-year, $29 million deal or whatever it was. Whatever. Either way, we do have the 2-5. Either way, 2-5 New Orleans Saints taking on the 3-3 LA Chargers. Mark, the Saints are with a third string quarterback now. We don't know if it's going to be Spencer or if it's going to be the rookie. I don't know who the second year guy. I don't know. I forget his name. Either way, the Saints are not playing good football right now after starting off the 2-0, losing 5 games in a row now. Can the Saints beat the Chargers? Give me the keys.
Okay, first off, Alvin Kamara tells Sean Payton, "Come get me," and then he signs a deal with New Orleans. And then once again, they kick the can down the road in salary cap hell. Okay, enough said about that. Okay, number one key, New Orleans defense just simply needs to be better. They're fucking terrible. They've averaged 42 points a game in the last 2 losses. That's bad. That needs to change. Second, New Orleans offensive line also needs to be better. Spencer Rattler, he's only played a couple games and he's taken 11 sacks. That's too much. Lastly, New Orleans' schedule gets a little easier. They play Carolina, Cleveland, and the Giants coming up. So they do have a little reprieve.
Yeah, so the Saints defense has been very, very bad as of late. They need to be on the phone with the Jets right now for getting Hassan Reddick down there, maybe offer some more of that pass rush. I do agree with that. And Spencer Rattler is injured as well. I believe it was a sack versus your Denver Broncos, Mark, and he got a hit pointer or something. The same thing it looked like Carr got. So definitely O-line needs to protect as well. So Hoffy, Chargers are playing decent football. They're a 500 team. Can they, key number one, to beat the New Orleans Saints?
Key number one is going to be stopping Alvin Kamara. With the Saints offense as banged up as it is, their only hope is getting any level of production from Alvin Kamara. He's had a solid season catching balls out of the backfield, but he's only been averaging 3.9 yards per carry on the ground. So stopping him in the running game is going to be number one key to beating the New Orleans Saints. Number two for the Chargers is Ladd McConkey. The Chargers need to start getting some consistent play at wideout, and their rookie McConkey is their best hope. He leads the team in receiving yards, 265 yards, but he failed to show a level of explosiveness. So they're going to need some big plays from him in the passing game. Number three, get after the Saints rookie quarterback, whether it's Rattler, whether it's the other guy. We
Ian
saw what
Book,
happened.
I think his name is.
Yeah, we saw what happened last week with Mark's Denver Broncos coming into town.
Yeah.
They had to have their backup go up against an elite defense. It was abysmal performance by the Saints, to say the least. It ended in a Broncos rout. I'm expecting the exact same situation in Week 8. I'm expecting this to be an absolute rout.
All right, guys. So in the comments below, wow emoji for the Saints, heart emoji for the LA Chargers. Mark, for the record, I believe Ian Book was traded to the Chicago Bears, and he was actually ultimately released/cut. I just looked it up. As Jake Haener is the third string quarterback for the Saints. He is a Fresno State guy, just like Derek Carr is. So there's a little bit of connection there. But Mark, who do you got winning this game and why?
I gotta agree with Hoffy. I think they have Alvin Kamara is all they got. What are they gonna do offensively? If they can't protect Spencer Rattler, they're gonna key on Alvin. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers for Hoffy, Chargers for me as well. Cedric is out. Shaheed is out. Chris Olave is out. Their receivers are Mason Tipton, Bud Means, and MVS. So MVS, they literally just signed this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. So give me the Chargers.
Kendrick Bourne looked like Randy Moss.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So, yep, give me the Chargers. And this one, guys, I think is going to be a route as well. But in the comments below, wow emoji for Saints, heart emoji for the LA Chargers. Next up, we do have the Buffalo Bills riding sky high, got Amari Cooper in the end zone, take on a Seahawks team that snapped their 3-game losing streak last week versus the Atlanta Falcons. So in the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the Buffalo Bills, heart emoji for the Seattle Seahawks. Mark, what is the first key for the Buffalo Bills take on the Seattle Seahawks?
Okay, first, before I get to my keys, you're talking about trap games. I think this might be a trap game for Buffalo. Just saying. Okay, so first key, Josh Allen needs to keep playing MVP. He's killing it this year. He has 12 TDs and no interceptions. Let me emphasize that. Allen has 0 interceptions. And just to make this clear, this is the longest streak he's had in his career. It's the longest streak in franchise history. And let me just break down the last 3 years of his records of interceptions. In 2021, he had 15 interceptions. 2022, he had 14. Last year, he had 18. So that just shows you how crazy this is that he has no interceptions. Second, James Cook is coming back. He needs to get back on track. Seattle's run defense allows 146 yards a game. That needs to keep rolling for Buffalo. Lastly, Josh Allen needs to play better on the road. I didn't know this, but he's really bad on the road. He's 3-0 at home with a 272 passer rating. And on the road, he has a 166 passing rating. So, yeah, he needs to change that.
Yeah, this could be a trap game, Mark, but the Buffalo Bills are a 3-point favorite in this game. And people have been sleeping on the Seahawks. Yes, they were on a 3-game losing streak, but they're still a pretty good team. Hoffy, you have the Seahawks. They did snap that 3-game losing streak. Give me key number 1 of how they can beat the Buffalo Bills.
Time of possession. The Seahawks have to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands as much as possible. Time of possession should be their number 1 focus on this on their game plan for this week. The offense with Amari Cooper is just so balanced, and the fact that they were able to get Amari Cooper and the price tag that they're paying for him is that's highway robbery. So number 1 is going to be time of possession. Number 2, get DK Metcalf the ball. Do not allow DK to take himself out of the game. You need to feed him the rock. You don't get him involved early. He gets all worked up, takes himself right out of the game. He needs to be a very, the focal part of your offense in this game, and avoid a shootout. The Bills are 2-2 on the road, but those losses have come against really good teams in the Ravens and the Texans. You need to avoid a shootout and, play your style of game. Make it the old Seahawks kind of play.
The Legion of Doom, as people like to say. Wow emoji for the Buffalo Bills, guys. Heart emoji for the Seattle Seahawks. The over-under in this game, Hoffy, is 46.5, so people are kind of expecting a highish scoring game, 25-plus points probably for each team here. On the bright side, Hoffy, if DK Metcalf does take himself out of the game like he has done so many times this season, the Seattle Seahawks do not have a number 1 receiver. They that's their kind of their kryptonite is they don't have that number 1 guy. It could be Tyler, it can be Najigba, or it could be DK. But with that being said, Mark, Buffalo Bills or Seahawks?
Even though I'm really high on Buffalo this year, because I really think they're going to go far this season, I think and then how Josh Allen has had no interceptions, I think that changes this week. I think Seattle's corners are really good, and I think they're gonna pick him off, and he's gonna have a bad game, and I think Seattle's gonna win.
Hoffy, what about you?
Yeah, I do agree with Mark. I think Witherspoon is their number 1 guy. I do think he'll have an interception, or at least Josh Allen is going to be forced into throwing a turnover. But I think that this Buffalo team is just too well balanced. I think that they've got some serious swag going right now. Their 2 losses have been to the Ravens, and I don't see them losing to Seattle.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, Hoffy, they now have a second running back by the name of Ray Davis. Ray Davis and James Cook are both really good running backs, and I think that even adds to even more balance on that team. But the unsung hero for the Seahawks has been their defense, right? They have been deemed the Legion of Doom 2.0. Plus Kenneth Walker III and Charbonnet are both 100% healthy. I'm picking the Seahawks at home in this game, despite the Buffalo Bills playing basically almost flawless football the last few weeks. So, guys, in the comments below, wow emoji for the Buffalo Bills. Of course, heart emoji for the Seattle Seahawks. Moving up here, next up on this trap weekend games here, we do have the Carolina Panthers. The mighty, mighty Carolina Panthers, which are now starting Bryce Young in this game. I just got word on Wednesday that they are starting Bryce Young, but the Carolina Panthers are sitting at 1-6, and they battle the Denver Broncos 4-3 at Mile High Stadium. Mark, I know you're a Denver Broncos fan. And I just said, hey, you take the away games. I didn't realize they were playing at home. My fault. But tell me, in your most non-biased way, how can the Panthers win this game?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to be very non-biased, Buck. It's going to be really hard, though. Okay. Number one, can Carolina just be a competent NFL team? They are like they're shooting for the number one pick again. They're absolutely terrible. Their whole situation's terrible. You know how I feel about their goddamn owner. I think he's a piece of shit, but that's another story. Okay, so the Panthers are the league worst minus point differential at 133 points. They have suffered the last 3 road blowouts this season by an average of 32 points per game. They're bad. Second, can they get some competent quarterback play from either Andy Dalton and Bryce Young? So they say they're going to go with Bryce Young this week. I think that's a mistake. I think Denver defense is going to eat that dude up for breakfast. Just saying. Lastly, this is kind of a joke, but can they stop my guy Bo? Like, he's been playing really good. Like, nobody expected him to be running the ball like he has. And he's, like, got more rushing yards than our actual running backs this year. That kind of changed against New Orleans. But can they stop him? They're so bad. Can they stop Bo Nix?
Wow. All right, guys. So those are the keys for the Carolina Panthers. Wow emoji for the Panthers in the comments below, guys, or heart emoji for the Denver Broncos. Hoffy, we've heard the keys for the Panthers. What about the keys to the Denver Broncos?
Number one is avoid the trap game. I am not trying to take shots at Mr. Peebles' Raiders. Trying to be nice here, but avoid the trap game. Carolina ranks 30th in defense. The Broncos need to duplicate, what they did against New Orleans, and I expect them to do that. Number two, defense. The Denver Broncos have the 3rd-ranked defense. Don't allow the defense to find any momentum. Because if so, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. As Mark said, I expect them to eat whoever is at the quarterback position. They're going to be sacking him left and right. Number 3, run the ball. To touch on Mark's points of emphasis, the Broncos should have the same, if not more, success running the ball against the Panthers as they did against the Saints. And the offensive line has gotten better each week. So I expect them to be able to run the ball all over the Carolina Panthers.
All right, guys. All right. So those are the keys to the games for the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. Wow emoji for the Panthers. Heart emoji for the Denver Broncos. Mark, the Denver Broncos are a 10-point favorite at home over the Carolina Panthers. Starting Bryce Young this week. Who are you taking this week and why?
Like, I know you guys say it's a trap game. I totally agree with that because I don't want them to take Carolina lightly. But I don't think they will. Like, the Broncos are coming off like a mini bye from Thursday night, so they had more time to prepare for Carolina. And I think that's going to be all the help that Sean Payton needs, and we were going to win.
All right, Hoffy, what about you?
Yeah, I think that the Denver Broncos are just going to be too much for Carolina. I think, like I said, their offensive line has gotten better each week. The running backs have, been getting better each week. I expect them to ride off of the momentum that they had going against the New Orleans Saints that previous Thursday. And I think they're going to continue to take, be where they left it on Thursday against the Saints.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are playing really good football right now, and this is kind of a must-win game for them if they want to make the playoffs because they do got a tough schedule coming up, and I think Sean Payton has that in their head. But I am very, very interested to see how Bryce Young has grown these last 4 weeks or so, whatever been. Has he matured? Has he gotten better? Has he taken time to step back? Does he actually improvement, or is he still the same old Bryce Young that we've been seeing? But only time will tell, and we'll see it Sunday evening at 4:25 here on the East Coast, and we'll be streaming this over here on our Discord, guys. But wow emoji for the Panthers, and of course heart emoji for the home team and the Denver Broncos. Next up, we do have Raiders week, 6-0 Kansas City Chiefs taking on the newly acquainted Gardner Minshew and the Las Vegas Raiders. This is another 10-point favorite for the away team. The Kansas City Chiefs are a 10-point favorite in this game over the 2-5 Las Vegas Raiders. Mark, give me the keys to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so when I sent this to you, Buck, I hope you had a laugh when I sent it to you, because I think it's kind of funny. But
I did.
Remember when the Raiders trolled Patrick Mahomes with the stupid Kermit puppet? Do people remember that? Like, I remember that. I'm not even a freaking Chiefs fan, and I remember that. So I'm just gonna say that's enough said. Mahomes is gonna have a huge game just because of that. Watch. Second, KC defense needs to keep balling out like they are. They are one of the best defenses in the NFL. Las Vegas has a -9 turnover ratio in the past 3 games, and they average only 15 points a game. It's going to be real hard for them. Lastly, I think KC will stay undefeated. I hate that you're making me say good things about your Chiefs, Buck. But yes, they will stay remaining undefeated, and that will change. That won't change with the Raiders.
All right, guys. So in the comments below, wow emoji for the Kansas City Chiefs, and of course, heart emoji for the Las Vegas Raiders. Hoffy, the Kansas City Chiefs have not lost a game for a while. The last team to beat them was the Las Vegas Raiders, and I've said it.
Oh, you fucking asshole! You can't take my shit.
No, I'm not saying.
I sent you my shit, and then you steal my shit.
I didn't even read it, but
I email you my freaking. Come on.
Regardless, I had the Las Vegas Raiders losing 8 games in a row, and I've been trolled all year long about it. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Can they snap that? If so, what are the keys to it?
Hope that history repeats itself. I know I've already said that, but the Raiders were the last team to beat this Kansas City Chiefs team.
Shocking.
It ain't gonna happen, but that's number one. Pray to freaking God that history just repeats itself. Create some offense. The Raiders' offense is on a 3-game losing streak. They have the 26th ranked offense. They're gonna have to perform to beat the Chiefs. Not gonna happen. Sorry, Mr. Peebles. Number 3, Brock Bowers is. If they are going to have a chance of winning this game, Brock Bowers is going to have to play out of this world. He needs 2 catches to break the record for the most catches by a tight end in their first 8 weeks. He needs 23 yards to be the second tight end ever to have 500 receiving yards in the first 8 games. He's going to have a monster game in order for this offense to have any success against this Chiefs defense. Not going to happen.
All right, guys. So obviously, Javi seems to be taking the Kansas City Chiefs, but wow emoji in the comments below for the Chiefs, heart emoji for the Las Vegas Raiders. Mark, can the Chiefs beat the Raiders this week?
I'm going to put it this way. The Chiefs are rolling, and the Raiders are reeling. Chiefs win.
Javi, put some speak on the name.
Chiefs are going to continue rolling.
So
they're rolling on a river. The Raiders are fucking reeling.
Yeah. So I'm a
They're
Chiefs fan.
In seaweed. They're not even getting.
I am a Chiefs fan, but I'm also a realist, right? I understand that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are not playing good offense right now. I understand that the defense is playing
Kelsey
good,
either.
Yeah, Kelsey's definitely taken a step back. If this game was at Arrowhead Stadium, I would probably be taking the Las Vegas Raiders, to be honest. But it's not at Arrowhead Stadium. The Kansas City Chiefs are undefeated at Allegiant Stadium, and they continue that.
There's going to be a bunch of Chiefs fans there, man.
There's probably going to be more Chiefs fans than Raiders fans. Let's just be honest.
Sorry, Mr. Peebles.
Flights from Kansas City to Vegas are $119 right now. Just putting it
cheap. Get them out of hot.
But in the comments below, guys, wow emoji for the Chiefs, heart emoji for the Las Vegas Raiders. Next up, we have the 4-2 Chicago Bears taking on the 5-2 Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels right now, guys, is trending to not to be playing in this game. So this gives the Bears kind of a leg up potentially. So with that being said, Mark, how can the Bears beat the Commanders this week?
Okay, number 1, Chicago's rush offense should have a big day. Commanders defense has allowed 178 rushing yards to Arizona and Baltimore this season. Not good. Second, Chicago shouldn't have a hard time stopping Mariota. He's probably going to play. He kind of looked, even though he looked competent with Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator, I think he's going to struggle. Lastly, Chicago is coming off a bye week. The Bears are going to be rested, and they're going to be dealing with Mariota. They're going to have a big day.
Yeah, and Hoffy, I know how hard it is for us to talk decent about the Bears, so that's why I definitely make sure you had the Commanders this week. So, give me keys to victory for the Washington Commanders.
Stop the passing game. Blitz and pressure Williams. Do not let him get into a groove with his offensive playmakers. I mean, Allen, you got Moore, you got Dunze. The unit has as many takeaways in the last 2 games as it did over the first 5 games. So they've come into form. They're going to need to they're going to need to get after Williams and pressure him. The Bears offense has only turned the ball over twice. So run the ball without Jaden Daniels. This is the 3rd ranked rushing attack. It's going to need to step up and take the pressure off of Mariota. I think Mariota, I like Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator, but I do believe that Mariota is going to struggle against this Bears defense. And then my 3rd key is the 3rd down defense. The Commanders are 23rd in 3rd down defense. You have to get off the field when you have the opportunity. Can't allow the Bears to extend their offensive drives.
All right, guys. So in the comments below, wow emoji for the Chicago Bears with the 3-point favorites and a heart emoji for the Washington Commanders. Mark, who you got winning this game and why?
I got to go with the Bears. They are rolling right now, and I don't have much confidence in Mariota.
Hoffy, what about you?
I might get fired for this because my corporate office is in Washington, and my boss is probably watching this show and big Commanders fan. And I will say that I love Jaden Daniels. I would have taken him over Williams. I was hoping that, that the Commanders would take May because I wanted Daniels on the Patriots. But without Daniels, I don't think that they have a shot. I think that Williams is kind of coming into his zone, and with playmakers like Allen Moore, Odunze. This Washington Commanders defense has started to create some turnovers these last 2 games. They hadn't the previous 5 games, but I think that the Chicago offense is just too much. I'm not going to go on a limb and beat the drum like Combs and say that they got a 5,000-yard passer yet, but I think Williams can be the real deal for this Bears team.
Yeah, and to be honest, this game has kind of lost a little bit of muster in it since Jaden Daniels is trending to be out this week. And I've kind of been hard on the Washington Commanders, and I'm not sold on them yet because they haven't played anybody. This is their opportunity to play somebody, but they got an out. Oh, our starting quarterback wasn't in there. So with that being said, I hope the Bears come in and totally wax that ass, like not even making it close. I want to see a 42-10 type of score, and I think that's what we're going to see. I think the Bears are going to come in hungry, ready to prove that they are a top contender in the NFC over the Commanders.
You really are trying to get me fired.
No, I'm not trying. I'm not trying.
One thing though, guys, Cliff Kingsbury could have been hired by Chicago and wasn't.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling. Let's say Washington wins. Is it going to make Chicago regret that they didn't hire him?
I don't think Chicago ever has any regrets because they've gone through like 6 quarterbacks in 9 years. So
why wouldn't they hire Kingsbury? It makes no sense.
Why did they hire Eric Bieniemy? It's just sometimes it is not a cultural fit, and
because the color of his skin.
Yeah, he's a little milked, but. Wow emoji for the Bears guys, heart emoji for the Washington Commanders. A little bit of chocolate in them. He likes to swirl in the milk, as they like to say. Next up, Sunday Night Football. Taking on the Dallas Cowboys, sitting on 3-3, coming off their bye week. Taking on the San Francisco 49ers, sitting at 3-4, fresh off the beatdown of the Kansas City Chiefs. The 49ers are dealing with a lot of injuries. The Cowboys are dealing with a lot of inner turmoil. Mark, what are the keys to the Dallas Cowboys this week?
Okay, another team that I hate that you're making me talk good about. So thanks again, Buck.
You're welcome.
Okay, number 1, Dak needs to protect the ball. Dak Prescott has thrown 2 interceptions in the blowout loss against Detroit before the bye week. Second key, Dallas defense might be getting Micah Parsons back. That'll be huge. Dallas pass rush needs to apply pressure and force Purdy into errors. I feel like that's when Purdy usually makes his errors. He threw 3 interceptions in the loss to Kansas City last week. Sorry, Hoff, but he shit the bed. Lastly, Dallas rush defense needs to be better. The whole defense needs to be better. Dallas can't stop the run. Through the first 6 games, they're surrendering an average of 143 yards a game. Heading into week 8, Dallas is surrendering 28 points per game, which is the second most in NFL, only worse to Carolina.
Wow. So the Dallas Cowboys have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, one of the worst rushing defenses as well. And of course, Mason is one of the leading rushers in the NFL. So it could be a recipe for disaster moving forward. Hoffy, you are the San Francisco 49ers aficionado, if you want to call it. Did I say that right? Did I say it with like with my Boston accent? But how can the 49ers beat the Cowboys?
So, going back to my Washington Commanders, 3 keys, but this one is, very similar. Third down defense. San Francisco's 27th in third down defense. They have to get off the field when you get them in third down. Do not let the Cowboys extend the drives. Number 2, continue to make explosive plays despite the continued absence of all-pro running back in Christian McCaffrey. The 49ers rank 7th in total rushing yards. They are averaging 150 yards per game. Third year back, Jordan Mason ranks 2nd in the league with 667 rushing yards. Dallas continues to struggle against the run, allowing an average of 143 yards per game. They allowed 180 yards or more on the ground in 3 different games this season. And number 3, pressure Dak. Former Defensive Player of the Year Nick Bosa, as well as Leonard Floyd, and former Cowboy Malik Collins need to get pressure on Dak and force him into turnovers. Those are the 3 keys to a San Francisco win versus the Dallas Cowgirls.
All right, guys. With that being said, in the comments below, wow emoji for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, or heart emoji for the overrated San Francisco 49ers. Mark, who do you got in this game?
Okay, interesting note. I just got an update. Weird thing. The Cowboys kicker has been picked to be a 12-person jury, so he might not be playing for them. And he's actually one of the best kickers in the league. Just a weird side note. You know what? I'm going 49ers. I think they just know how to beat Dallas. They're going to be home. I think Purdy's going to have a better game than the 3-pick game he had last week. I'm going 49ers.
Hoffy, what about you?
Yeah, I think the 49ers have of last week's pretty upsetting game. I wouldn't doubt that this could be a game similar to last year when they played back in October. I think it was 42-10. So I would not not be surprised to see. I think the Cowboys will score more than 10 points, but I wouldn't be surprised to see San Francisco put a beating on the Dallas Cowboys.
So we just talked about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are out their top 2 receivers on their team. The 49ers are out Brandon Ayuk, and Debo probably will not play. I think he got released from the hospital Wednesday afternoon with ammonia. So I never had that. I don't know what the recovery process is, but it seems pretty serious. Like you have fluid on your lungs. You're at the hospital for a few days. So I'm a little worried about the San Francisco 49ers, and Brock Purdy is not playing great right now. He has 9 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. But on the bright side, the 49ers do have a defense, and defense travels well. Cowboys are in a must-win situation. If they lose this game, the Cowboys may not win another game for the rest of the season.
McCarthy's going to be fired.
Give me the San Francisco 49ers in this one at home, Sunday Night Football. I'm picking the 49ers. So, guys,
I think their rookie wide receiver Pearsall is going to have a solid game. He made his debut last week out of Florida.
Yeah,
I think he steps up and has a big game.
So, Hoffy, you are a 49ers guy. There's been rumblings about Cooper Kupp potentially coming over to San Francisco. Would you?
I heard Pittsburgh.
Well, there's been rumors of Pittsburgh, the Commanders, the Chiefs are still in talks.
Sean Payton, get on the phone, dude. Get on the phone.
Would you want an extra receiver on your team, Hoffy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still, I'm a little frustrated with my wife right now. I'm supposed to be at this game. I'm supposed to be hanging out with Nick Bosa, or at least Nick Bosa's family in the suite. A friend of mine
shit.
from Keene. Yeah, no, I went out to dinner with a couple friends last Friday, or a couple Friday nights ago, and Nick Bosa actually FaceTimed a buddy of mine, Rokes, and was like, "Hey, free tickets via flight. I'll pay for your hotel, pay for your Uber, all that crap. Come on out to the game versus Dallas." Apparently, his father and Rokes' father played football at Keene High, so all expenses paid trip to go watch this game and sit in a suite. My wife told me no.
And you
So
can't go.
so yeah, to answer
You need to
Buck's
grab those nuts
question
out of
from-
her purse, Hoff.
yeah, to answer Buck's question from off-air conversation, yeah, we know who wears the pants in this relationship. But yeah, I would absolutely take Cooper Kupp on my team. I don't care what team it is. I think anyone would benefit from Cooper Kupp. I think that he would be an awesome add to the San Francisco 49ers because you have Deebo Samuel, who is a versatile Swiss Army knife guy, can run the ball, can run the routes. You have Ayuk, who can go deep. And then if you have Cooper Kupp in that Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, role of just the slot wide receiver, add in Kittle, McCaffrey comes back. You got Mason. I think that team would be a serious threat to make it to Super Bowl if you get Cooper Kupp.
I think the asking price is too high. I think they want too much for him.
Well,
especially being in the same division.
Oh yeah, I got to even think about them being in the same division. So yeah, that's never going to happen. But I think the asking price is too high because the Rams still think they have an opportunity to win. So now if the Rams lose on Thursday, which spoiler alert, we're recording this on Wednesday. If the Rams win that game, they're a game out of first place. So, but it is what it is. But guys, in the comments below, wow emoji for the Dallas Cowboys, heart emoji for the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got? But guys, that is going to be it for a week NFL breakdown. Hope you guys enjoy this. We did record this on Wednesday, trying to do something new. Let us know.
So we're all going to be talking shit with you guys on Saturday. Look out.
Yeah, let us know if you like it. But if not, I have a little different idea that we could potentially try next week. So Hoffy, with that being said, thank you for joining us. Mark, thank you for joining me as well.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you guys next time. We out.
Peace.